Remember when we were praising the Lakers about the grit and the kind of toughness they show night in, night out, regardless of who was in the lineup? Unfortunately, that did not come to fruition Saturday night against the Atlanta Hawks. Rough game for the Lakers. Just an ugly game. It was bad from the get go. Really, the Lakers were playing with a 10-point deficit for most of the game in the first half, and then it just broke open there in the third quarter. And honestly, a 20-point loss felt not indicative of how badly the Lakers played in that one. So we'll get to that later. Kind of talk about how was it an anomaly, or is that a sign of things to come, and how the Lakers can avoid that in the future coming days. We're going to get into a preview of the Charlotte Hornets. But first, my name is Sammy Long. Thank you for tuning in to another preview video that we got here. So looking at the Charlotte Hornets, interesting team. A team that, when fully healthy, is actually a team, despite their record being 3-6 and 2-2 at home, I feel like is a team that for years to come, they have a lot of young talent. They have a lot of guys on this team that we could look at in a few years, especially in the Eastern Conference, that has a lot of kind of middling teams that make the playoffs. This is a team that could grow throughout the season and could be a lot better than their record indicates. As I mentioned, 3-6 on the year. Looking at the injury report first, LeBron is out, Vincent's out, Fierro's out. Reeves is questionable. Redick said he will return at some point on the road trip. We'll see. It'll be a game time decision if he's going to go against the Hornets or if he will come back later on in the road trip with that big game against the Thunder coming on Wednesday. Looking at the Hornets, this is where we're not seeing the full complement of weapons for them. LaMelo Ball is out. He leads the team in points per game, rebounds per game, assists per game, and steals per game. So a massive loss for them. He has missed the last 2 games with an injury. Grant Williams will be out, the former Boston Celtic. Nice 3-and-D player, good defensive player who can hit some threes. Josh Green will be out as well. Brandon Miller, former really high draft pick a couple of years ago. He's been averaging about 14 points per game this season. He will be out for this game as well. He's out a couple of weeks with an injury. And Miles Bridges, another really good scorer for them, kind of wing player, is questionable with back spasms. So missing a lot of their guys. This is not the full complement of weapons, as I mentioned. But as I mentioned, LaMelo, he makes the team go. And this is the last couple of games they've lost. They lost to the Miami Heat the other night. Con Knippel, the rookie out of Duke, actually had a really big performance with 30. But they haven't had the closer. They haven't had the LaMelo Ball at the end of the game to really come in and step up and make some big shots. And that's kind of been the undoing here and why their record is 3-6 on the year. So who the Lakers will be seeing, Miles Bridges, he's questionable, but we're going to assume he's going to play. He's averaging about 21 points per game. He would be the go-to guy with LaMelo Ball out if he does play. Con Knippel, as I mentioned, rookie out of Duke, probably didn't get the love he should have gotten at Duke with playing with Cooper Flagg and Malawach, who were also first-round picks. Con Knippel averaging about 16 points per game, had 30 the other night against the Miami Heat, so could be kind of a coming-out party for him. Really good shooter. He's a fantastic shooter. Got to run him off the three-point line. Colin Sexton, former Cleveland Cavalier, Utah Jazz, played at the University of Alabama. Been traded around a little bit, but he's averaging about 16 points per game with the Hornets this season. He's a nice guard. This team has a lot of good guards, especially when LaMelo Ball is healthy. So the Lakers really got to make sure they're on point at the guard spot. Coming off, kind of rounding out the rotation, you got Trey Mann averaging about 11 points per game. Moussa Diabate is having kind of a nice season off the bench, averaging about 10 points a game. Ryan Kalkbrenner, he was kind of he's big out of Creighton. A lot of people kind of thought he wouldn't be great in the NBA, kind of like Zach Edey, a guy that was amazing in college because he was just bigger than everyone, but because of his size and kind of lack of mobility, wouldn't be great in the NBA. Edey's been very good for the Memphis Grizzlies. Ryan Kalkbrenner is averaging about 9 points per game and leading the team with about 3 blocks per game. So he's been very crucial for them, and he's been asked to do a lot, especially with all the injuries recently. Looking at the rest of the lineup, Sion James averages about 9 points a game. Pat Connaughton, former Milwaukee Buck, got some run against Miami. He's only averaging about 4 points a game. KJ Simpson, a young player for them who they're kind of high on, 5 points per game. And Liam McNeely, about 4 points per game. These guys wouldn't normally play, but they're going to be asked to play some pretty decent minutes with all the injuries like they did the other night against the Miami Heat. Looking at the team as a whole, again, don't have all their guys, but this is kind of what Charlotte does. They actually score the basketball very well. They score the basketball almost a point better than the Lakers per game. They're at 119 per game. The Lakers are at 118 per game. The Hornets' problem is this. They give up 121 points per game so far early in the season to opposing offenses. The Lakers only give up 117. Charlotte defense has been a massive issue for them. This is the real weakness of their team. They give up a lot of points. They only shoot about 47% from the field compared to 51% from the field for the Lake Show. This is the one advantage though Charlotte could have, and they still have a lot of their big men. I know Brandon Miller's not there. They do rebound they get about 6 more rebounds per game than the Lakers. They average about 47 rebounds per game. Lakers average about 41. So that's something to watch for against this team. They do rebound the basketball very well. Now, some of those stats could be skewed because they don't have a great field goal percentage from the field, being under 50%. Maybe they're getting more looks. They're able to get more rebounds. But that is something we're going to look at DeAndre Ayton. It's got to be a lot of team communal rebounding because they do have a pretty big lineup. Even LaMelo Ball, when he's healthy, is a guard on the larger side of things. So interesting game against Charlotte. Curious how this one works. I'm going to get to my next point, lack of ball handlers. And this is why it's very important against the Hornets because despite LaMelo Ball not being there, a lot of good guards with this team. Con Knipple, Miles Bridges, a lot of guys that can handle the ball and get after it. We saw this against the Hawks. What happened against the Hawks was unacceptable because 10 turnovers at half, 19 total, allowing 68 points in the first half to the Hawks with no Trae Young, no Jalen Johnson. I mean, that just can't happen. Maybe it was just a bad game. Lakers come off a 5-game winning streak, 7-2 at the time, and then just kind of get absolutely blasted from the start. But the lack of ball handlers is kind of a thing that's been a little bit of a recurring theme without Austin Reeves. We've seen Luka can obviously handle the ball, and he's the one guy on this team playing right now that can bring the ball up the floor. And we've seen a lot of turnovers as evidenced by the 19 against Atlanta when they're crossing half court. Guys just can't get the ball in by themselves. That's where you need your LeBron, your Reeves, your Luka, guys that can break down a defense and get into the offense. You know, the Spurs game, we kind of saw it. It just kind of got wrote off a little bit because of the fact the Lakers came back in the game. When they got down 12 there at the end of the third, early fourth quarter, it was because none of the guys on offense when Luka was sitting could really bring the ball into the half court and run the offense. There was a lot of guys, Jake LaRavia, Rui Hachimura, all really nice pieces, but guys that kind of need the ball that's given to them in the offense. Not really I'm bringing the ball up the floor, going to initiate the offense. That's why if Austin Reeves can come back for this game, it's big because Luka or Reeves can be on the floor at all times and kind of get into the offense. When Luka wasn't on the floor, there just wasn't many guys breaking down the defense. Allowed the Hawks, allowed the Spurs as well. Again, it was just the defense of the Lakers really keeping them in it, and then some heroics from Luka down the stretch that they were able to come out with the win. But it allowed the kind of guards of the opposing teams to really get after it defensively right when they cross half court and making them pick the ball up, make some bad passes, easy turnovers going the other way. That can't happen. So hopefully Reeves can be there. If he can't, someone else has got to do it besides Luka. It cannot just be Luka Doncic by himself getting trapped every time he enters the half court. And then if he gets in foul trouble, he's sitting, then it's kind of an avalanche for the other team. My last point, how they respond to adversity. This is kind of the second game, I'd say, where we're going to see how they respond. They've responded to adversity through injuries so far this year because a lot of these games, heavy dogs in, could have easily been kind of written off because of the fact that LeBron hasn't been there. Luka's missed games. Reeves has missed games. Gabe Vincent's missing games. But they responded that way. They responded after night one against the Warriors. Very ugly game. If we all remember night one, they responded well getting that win over Minnesota, the team that tortured the Lakers last year in the playoffs. But this is really the first bad loss of the season. This is the first one that you go, wow, that was an awful game from start to finish from a Laker perspective. Now, NBA is a long season, 82 games. You're going to have nights like this. I don't care who you are. Hell, we saw the Thunder lose to the Portland Trailblazers last week. And kind of put up a clunker there. Everyone does it, but it was a gross game, and as JJ Redick pointed out post game, he was very sharp with reporters and was not too happy to be taking questions. But I got to give JJ Redick credit. He talked about how some reporter asked him, when did you know the game was kind of out of reach? He said a minute or two into the game. He could tell. He's like, our energy was not there. The Hawks essentially looked like they wanted to win. Lakers looked like they showed up and thought they were just going to roll over the top of them. You can't do that in the NBA. All these guys were stars at some point in high school, college, whatever it is. This is a game the Lakers should win. They're favored in the game, but you're looking at a trap game. You got Oklahoma City Wednesday. That's going to be the big-time matchup, battle the potential 1 and 2 seeds in the Western Conference early season. don't let it be a snowball. You had your bad loss against the Hawks. You got 4 games left on the road trip, beat the Hornets, and then go into that Oklahoma City game with all hands on deck and looking for a win there. Because this Hornets team, despite not having LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller, there's some talent on this team. Colin Sexton, Colin Knippel, Miles Bridges. This is a team the Lakers kind of roll in there and act like they're going to win. They could have some problems. You could come up with a loss, and you don't want to start a losing streak, especially after that hot start the Lakers really got off to. So not going to panic. We're just going to see what's going to happen. Hopefully Lakers getting a big W Monday night in Charlotte, and then we're back for a preview video on Tuesday night again for the Oklahoma City Thunder in OKC, which should be a fantastic matchup. Alan's going to get you guys on the postgame show as well as his morning show. And as I mentioned, I'll be back with a preview video for that Thunder game. So appreciate everybody for tuning in. Thank you, and go Lakers.